All right, let's dive into a battle that, for whatever reason, rarely gets the blockbuster treatment it absolutely deserves. The Great Siege of Constantinople in 717. Believe me, this was way more than just a clash of armies. This was a single moment in time that would literally decide the fate of an entire continent. So let's just start with a huge question. I mean, really think about this. What if the map, the cultures, the entire history of Europe had just gone down a completely different path? It sounds massive, right? But sometimes all of history really does hinge on just one single moment.
And this siege, this was that moment. It was a true epic clash of civilizations. You had the Byzantine Empire on one side and the seemingly unstoppable Umayyad Caliphate on the other. And seriously, the outcome of this one fight answered that giant what-if question and went on to shape the world for the next 1,000 years. Okay, so to really get the stakes here, we first have to look at the challenger. Let's just call them what they seemed to be at the time, the unstoppable force, the incredible rising Umayyad Caliphate.
The most incredible thing about this story is just the sheer speed of it all. I mean, look at this. In less than 100 years, the Umayyad Caliphate just exploded out of the Middle East, sweeping all the way across North Africa. By the 710s, they weren't just knocking on the Byzantine Empire's door anymore. They were getting ready to kick it clean off its hinges. And their ultimate prize? It was Constantinople. Now, capturing this city wasn't just about grabbing more land. No, this was symbolic. This was the gateway to the Balkans, the gateway to the rest of Europe. For the Caliphate, taking it would have been a massive strategic win and, frankly, a crushing blow right to the heart of Christendom. But, as they say, every unstoppable force eventually meets an immovable object. And in our story, that object was the city of Constantinople itself, the capital of the incredibly resilient Byzantine Empire. So what made the city so ridiculously tough? Well, for starters, it had brilliant new leadership in Emperor Leo III. Then you had the fortifications. And we're not talking about just any walls. These were the legendary triple walls, probably the most formidable defenses of their time. The Byzantines also had a powerful navy, and crucially, they'd stockpiled tons of food for a long siege. Oh, and they had one more thing up their sleeve, a little secret weapon. And this really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like the tail of the tape before a big fight. On one side, you've got the Umayyads, led by Maslama, with a huge army of over 80,000 soldiers. Their advantage was just pure, overwhelming numbers. And on the other side, Emperor Leo's Byzantines. Sure, they were outnumbered, but they held an incredible fortress and they had a brilliant strategy. The stage was set. And now we get to the main event, the climax of our story, the siege itself. This is where that unstoppable force finally smashes into the immovable object in an absolute storm of fire, winter, and war. Hey, remember that secret weapon I mentioned? Well, here it is. Greek fire. This stuff was the absolute stuff of nightmares for any navy. It was this chemical mixture, a top state secret, that could be sprayed at enemy ships and, get this, it would keep burning even on the water. It was a total game changer. And you can just see how the entire invasion completely fell apart. First, the Umayyad naval assault ran headlong into the Greek fire, and their fleet was just decimated. Then, Mother Nature decided to get involved. The winter of 717 was absolutely brutal, and it devastated the unprepared besiegers with cold and famine. Then, to make matters even worse, a key Byzantine ally, the Bulgars, attacked the Arab army from behind, opening a whole new front. By the spring of 718, it was all over. The siege was broken. A single victory can sometimes echo for centuries, and this one sure did. Let's zoom out and take a look at the incredible aftermath and the truly lasting legacy of this one defense. Just look at this. Before 717, Umayyad expansion was a line rocketing straight up. But after 718, their push into southeastern Europe just stopped. It hit a brick wall. And this wasn't just a pause, we're talking a full-on dead stop. The perfect way to put it is that this successful defense cemented Constantinople as a bastion of Christendom. It guaranteed the Byzantine Empire would survive and stay a major power, acting like a shield for Europe for hundreds of years. It completely preserved the balance of power in the medieval world. So why does all this matter?
Well, beyond the military stuff, beyond the politics, the survival of Constantinople safeguarded the unique cultural and religious identity of the Byzantine Empire. It allowed this Christian stronghold to survive and flourish in a region that was changing so fast, preserving a legacy that shaped Eastern Europe for 1,000 years to come.
And that kind of leaves you with one final thought. I mean, this siege wasn't won by the biggest army. It was won by better strategy, incredible walls, a miserable winter, and a secret chemical weapon. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other crucial turning points in history were decided not by the might of soldiers, but by geography, by weather, and by sheer human ingenuity?